On this special edition of Seahawk Central News, 844,931. That is the number of Deferred Action of Childhood Arrival, DACA recipients that now reside in the U.S. since the DREAMER Act was proposed by former President Barack Obama in 2012. That is 844,931 young adults who are now facing the possibility of deportation.
Along with protection from deportation, young undocumented immigrants are also granted a work permit under DACA. Each DACA permit must be renewed every 2 years. DACA recipients must be under the age of 31, currently studying or have graduated with a high school degree or GED certification, and have not been convicted of a felony or significant misdemeanor such as a DUI.
On September 5, 2017, the Trump administration rescinded DACA after 5 years. During the president's announcement regarding his decision, he said, quote, "As president, my highest duty is to defend the American people and the Constitution of the United States of America. At the same time, I do not favor punishing children, most of whom are now adults, for the actions of their parents. But we must also recognize that we are a nation of opportunity because we are a nation of laws." End quote. President Trump instructed Congress to develop a plan within the next 6 months to deal with the so-called dreamers.
The president then goes on to say that the age of these approximate 800,000 dreamers are between 15 to 36, with the majority in their 20s. Being college students within the same age range, SCN's team of reporters wanted to investigate just how many of our collegiate peers will be affected by this decision. Statistically speaking, UNCW is likely to have DACA recipients as students. Our reporters interviewed members of different Latino clubs on campus, current UNCW students, as well as Vice Chancellor Pat Leonard, about the impact this verdict has on UNCW's campus as a whole.
So join us during the next few minutes as we walk you through the impression that this decision has left on our campus so far. Whether you realize it or not, someone you know may be at risk of losing a life full of family, friends, and education built right here in the United States.
I'm here today to announce that the program known as DACA that was effectuated under the Obama administration is being rescinded.
This announcement by Attorney General Jeff Sessions left college students across the country worrying if they still have a future here in the United States. According to data collected from Educators for Fair Consideration, 10,000 DACA recipients graduate from college each school year.
You know, it's hard to predict, right, how many students might be directly impacted by this, because that's not a question we would normally ask them. So I couldn't even begin to venture a guess and know that for sure.
Right.
First and foremost is always our concern about how our students are doing or reacting to something, right? Any kind of a crisis, and it's, for many students and families, this is a crisis, right? It's no different than when you have a hurricane somewhere and you've got students who are impacted by that area, or their families are. You know, those are like national crises where you know that students may in fact be impacted because they're either from that area or they have relatives or whatever, right? But from a university perspective, what we want to make sure is if any students are feeling distressed by something like that, we want them to know there's a lot of support services. You know, something to think about is, you know, there are students who are in distress about this, and students who are very scared to say something because they're afraid if they ask questions or tell people, then that would reveal perhaps somebody. So, you know, one of the great things about going to the counseling center, that's totally confidential. So they can go there and say, you know, my aunt or my brother or whomever, and explain what's going on and feel total safety.
UNCW offers many different Hispanic-centered clubs like Centro Hispano, whose office is located in the Fisher University Union. This organization provides students with the resources needed for academic growth while embracing the diverse Hispanic cultures along the way. Another club that advocates for these same ideals is Alpha Psi Lambda.
Our name is Alpha Psi Lambda. We are a Latino interest co-ed fraternity. Both our chapter, Alpha Theta chapter, and our national office have taken a stance to stand alongside DACA recipients and fight for them. DACA isn't really like a status that you just share, or that even the university doesn't know like who they are unless they explicitly choose to divulge that information.
UNCW's Faculty, Staff, and Student Government Association recently endorsed student support for the Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals resolution title passed by the Senate. Whether being impacted directly or indirectly, UNCW students had their own opinions about President Trump's decision.
Well, I feel like, our country is founded on the idea that, everyone can come here and live the American dream. And I do feel like this repeal is kind of taking that away from a lot of people who are, coming here working hard, and, it's almost like he's slighting them of an advantage of living in the U.S. and making more money than where they're from.
Personally, I feel like it's wrong to target people who grew up in the United States. I think that we're a nation of immigrants. I feel like that is how we really built America to be what it is today. All 4 of my grandparents are immigrants, and I just think it's wrong to target people who are here trying to better themselves, their lives, their families. I think they should be able to stay.
I feel that President Trump's decision was quite foolish, and it caused more diversity in our nation today. I feel like it made certain races, such as Latinos, feel inferior.
On September 18th, it was announced that DACA supporters have teamed up and filed suit against the President of the United States for the withdrawal of DACA. Although the program may be ending, this shows that DACA students won't go down without a fight.